All right, so the first time actually smoking marijuana or the devil's lettuce or green or whatever the fuck you want to call it was like pretty uneventful, but it was losing my drug virginity at that point. And it's near and dear to my heart. It's important to me. Little did I know at the time I'd become a fucking crackhead master. I would go and become an NBA fucking D1 prospect in this drug abuse shit. So like this was back when I was like in middle school. I was in like eighth grade, and I didn't know shit about marijuana back then. Like I remember like a few months prior to this event, this lady came up to me and she's like, "Oh, I'm high as shit right now." And my dumbass at the time like looked her straight in her fucking face, and I was like, "Nah, you ain't high." And she's like, "What you talking about? I'm baked to shit right now." And I'm like, "Nah, your eyes ain't red." And I don't know why the fuck I was like this. I don't know why the fuck I said this shit because I didn't know anything about weed. I knew nothing. I was just like came in as like a redditor. I was like, actually, like I don't know. That shit was lame as fuck. And it's funny too because I've never had red eyes. Like I've been baked lots of times, and my eyes have never gotten red except edibles. Because for you who know, edibles are different. That shit sends me to the moon. I'll take fucking like 200 mgs, walk out. My mom's like, it's like you spray something in your eyes. Like, what's going on? I'm just red. A bit of a tangent, but like the day finally comes when I smoke weed, and I wasn't planning on this shit. Like this literally just came out of nowhere. So there was this dude, and we're gonna call his name C because I ain't fucking creative. And if that murder drone shit I've been seeing on Reddit can use letters for names, then so can I, motherfucker. Fuck you. I never said I was gonna be creative on this shit. Anyways, so C like was one of those homies that you never really hung out with, but like he'd be like sitting next to you in the class, right? Like one of those people like you talk to on the bus stop, but you never really kicked it with them. But for some reason, because I don't remember why, we was trying to up the relationship to the next level. We was trying to feel it. So I was like, okay, fuck yeah, I feel that. It's pretty baller. So, he comes over to my house and like this guy has never, I want to repeat, has never asked me about, like talk to me about drugs or anything of the sort. Never have we talked about it. Me and this motherfucker would just talk about Magic the Gathering and how he, for some reason, believed he could beat the shit out of USC fighters, which I would always look at him and I'm like, are you fucking insane? Like, he's like, I play lacrosse. I'm like, nah, bro, like, that's a USC fighter. Like, bro, like, some of these motherfuckers were fighting like grizzly bear cubs as children. Like, what are you talking about? He's like, I got that shit. I'm like, this confidence is unreal. I'm like, I can't humble your ass. I can't fight for shit. That's why I'm drawing all this shit here. Like, I can't fight for shit. I'm a bitch. But I'm like, someone needs to come in here and humble your ass. Anyways, where were we? Fuck. Do. Anyways, though, he shows up. He's like, you know anyone that we can smoke weed with? And I'm like, what the fuck? Nah, bro. I don't know anyone we can smoke weed with. He's like, all right. And then we were walking, and I started really actually thinking about the question because I was just rolling around my mind, and I was like, you know what? I may know a guy. See, I knew a man, and we gonna call his name M. Fuck you. I don't gotta be creative. Anyways, M, bro, was like he was a big time stoner. And I remember he sold me some shit one time, but like I hid it in a bush because I was scared. Like I had the shit in my hands. And I was like looking, I was like, nah, bro. I'm like, my mama gonna smell it and everything. So I hid it in a bush and like some motherfucker stole it. Like some guy actually like just yeeted that shit. They found my bush weed. I don't know, bro. There were some real crackheads in that area to be like searching the bushes and shit for my pot. That's crazy work. Like I mean, shit, I've been there. Not really. I'd be like, eh. But yeah, they stole my weed. Not like I was really planning to smoke the shit anyways. But I'm like, I was sitting there, I'm like, maybe M will smoke with us. Now, C does not know M. So, in the back of my head, I'm like, this is probably not going to happen. Like, this is probably not going to take place. But we walk up, and lo and behold, little did I know, in the stars and shit, things just lined for me and my boy. Because, on this day, and this is the only day I've seen this happen, there was a few times I was over at M's house. Um, his parents weren't home, and we pull up to the door. I'm like, hey, yo, I smell something, like I'm smelling it. I'm like, ooh, that kind of smell like some Mary Jane right there. I'm like, okay, okay. And we get close to the door. I start hearing music. I'm like, okay, something going on. I'm like, this a function or whatever. And I knock on the door. And M opens the door. Now, every time I've been to M's house, M ain't opened the door for shit. His room upstairs and all that. Like he's upstairs, and that motherfucker never answered the door. It was always his parents. So M opens the door, and then just the waft of fucking smoke hits me in the face. I'm like, oh shit, that smells strong. I'm like, okay. And he's just chilling there, and I can already tell like homeboy's a bit baked. Like I mean, it was kind of obvious though with the smoking shit behind him. He probably could have showed up in school, and I would have been like, that motherfucker seemed normal to me. Like he'd be cross-eyed and shit, just slumped back. I'm like, that's just him, bro. That's just how he is. Because I didn't know shit at this time. But I talked to him. I'm like, look, my homeboy here, see, he was talking about trying to smoke a little bit of weed, and if you're gonna let, and at this point, I wasn't really sold on smoking the weed. Like, I wasn't sitting here like, yeah, yeah. I was kind of like tentative about it. So these are drugs, like I was raised with the DARE program and all that. I'm just like, I didn't really know anything about weed. I knew it was like meant to be safe, but like I was a bit cautious. Anyways, but like I couldn't look like a bitch at this time. Like I was looking at my homeboy, I'm like, man, I know damn well if I don't. And this is lame. This is lame of me, 100%. But like I would look at it like at that point in life, I'm like, I don't want to look like a bitch, yo. It's like kids out there, don't do drugs just cause your homie's doing drugs. Fuck that shit. That's lame. That's lame. They may call you a bitch, but fuck them. They stupid. Like who cares? Like, keep your if someone comes up to you and they're like, "Hey, Brody, you want that crack cocaine?" And you sitting there and you're like, "Damn, my homie's doing crack cocaine." You need new homies. I'm not gonna front with you. You need new homies for real, for real. You need to drop that shit for real. Especially they trying to push that shit on you, motherfucker. 107 pounds. Look at you. Look, you just gotta suck a little dick, bro. It's cool. Like it ain't gay or nothing. It's like just do a bit of crack, bro. It ain't no problem. Ain't no problems in my life. It's like motherfucker jobless, homeless, got no teeth, and they telling you they got no problems in their life from crack cocaine. That's called a delusional ass individual. That's what that's called right there. But it's just a bit of weed, and at this point in time, I was like, hey, I'm not gonna be a bitch. So we get in and fucking he just has this little pipe. I don't know why he had the little pipe out. Cause this motherfucker owned a bong, I later found out. Like a really nice bong. That worked out fine for me. And he puts a bit of weed in this fucking pipe. And he like does a breakdown. Like he pulls out a graph and shit because every fucking like when you're a stoner, bro, and you got new stoners ahead, you turn into like a scientist, like a professor. You sit there, you're like, this right here is called the carburetor. Just point on the screen and shit. And it's like, yep, this right here, this is the flame. I'm like, I know what fire is, bruh. Like, I know what fire is. It's like when you go and apply the flame to the weed, cover the carburetor so you can build up smoke. Then release the carburetor in order to get air in there to get more smoke. I'm like, okay, basic, easy as fuck to do. I'm being a bit cocky. Because the second that fucking pipe went to me, I didn't know what the fuck to do. Like I was just sitting there looking at this shit like it was rocket science. I'm just like, damn, how the fuck we gonna hit this? Like I was burning my thumb and shit because I wasn't inhaling at the same time. It turns out flames don't just magically go into the bowl. You gotta inhale. You gotta breathe in, make suction. I didn't know that. So I was just putting the flame to the lighter like it's some fucking crack, like a fucking meth pipe, where you just put flame underneath and all that. I was doing it like that. you know? So eventually my friend comes over and he's like, he fucking walking me through it and he's holding the pipe and the carburetor and shit. And I'm not gonna lie, bro, that shit was embarrassing. I felt like a child. I felt like a child for real. I was just sitting there like, damn, I'm stupid. But eventually I get a hit. And we do another cycle, I get a second hit. And after that second hit, it was done. Like I was like, we was good. I think M's parents came back. For some reason we had to leave M's house. So, we didn't get to smoke too much. But man, me and C were walking back, and C's like, "Damn, I'm feeling good." I'm like, "I'm feeling pretty good myself." Hey, let me go back to my place. I'll ask if I can go to your place, and I gotta go piss and everything too. So we made a plan. I'm like, "All right." I go back to my place. I go to the bathroom first. I'm like sitting there, take a piss, everything, and then all of a sudden I'm staring in the mirror. And this is how I knew I was real high. Cause like it just hit me. Like in that bathroom all of a sudden the weed really like came in. I was just sitting there like, damn bro, like I was having a pep talk with myself. You high as a motherfucker. You high as a motherfucker when you start talking to yourself. Like you gotta give yourself a football high school coach football game pep talk. You like, you good, bro. You good. It's okay. It's okay, bro. Like you good. Like you looking up in the fucking mirror, you like, you got this, bro. Like just get your head in the game. Get your head in the game. And it's like, all right, let's get my head in the game. And before I had to talk to my mom. So eventually I was shaking. I was so scared. I walked over to my mom's door. I'm like, knock. Like, yeah, I'm like, Mama, can I go to C's house? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, damn, I'm smooth with it. Said two sentences to her without like my voice cracking and shit. Go out, CC. I'm like, we good, bro. So we go, we leave, go to his house, and we watch like Gabriel. Like nothing fun really happened after that point. Like we went to his parents' house, and I realized his parents were dicks. Uh, I mean, like after this story, they sent C to rehab. And like just for marijuana, bro, like just for pot. And then they sent this motherfucker to rehab, and this man came back so much worse. This man came back so much worse. Like he would come back and just be like this guy literally just had a bag of fucking unmarked pills on him, and he'd be sitting there. It's like, you want to take this shit, and it's like, nah, nah, bro, I'm good on that. Like for real, like nah. And I mean, he was telling me about how he's like, it's like you can inhale dust cleaner. They showed me that at the rehab. I'm like, what kind of fucking fiends and shit? Your parents are fucking idiots, like for real. Who sends a kid to rehab? You sent your kid that was just smoking pot with some real ass drug addicts. Like this motherfucker was like a baby drug user, and y'all sent him to like fucking people booping up Xanax up they holio, and you thought shit was gonna be sweet. That's crazy. But yeah, that was the first time smoking weed, man. R.I.P. though to see on that shit. I hope he's doing good. I ain't heard from the man for a minute, but that's the first time smoking weed. I hope story didn't suck too much, and I hope y'all have a good day. Like and subscribe. Shameless plugging. Shameless plugging.